lot of interesting stuff happens in the hallway. It happens, you get to walk out of a session and there's a collective experience that you just went through, and so there will be a hallway conversation that springs up discussing the material.
All right, here we have two engineers, one senior, one more junior, hiding behind in the background. They don't bite unless your code is bad. Now, you may see before you a senior engineer, and you may think I spend my days dreaming in an ivory tower about good architecture. But in fact, my clicker doesn't work. In fact, I still write code. This is somewhat of a proof that I still write code. This actually is about half of my output because I have two GitHub personas. One's my personal, one's my work, which means I get to review my own pull requests, which I try not to do very much. But I'm going to offer some tips about how to navigate code reviews as an author specifically. Because as code authors, we want to get our code into the main line. We want to contribute to the project. We want the project to be high quality. And we want to always be moving on with our lives, getting to the next thing, right? So it's in my interest to make my code easy to review. I don't want this code review to be hanging out for days, weeks, maybe longer. So I'm going to start with perhaps the most important thing. First, it shouldn't be a surprise. Anytime we write a new function, we have a small piece of new design. Probably about once a week, I reach out to Michael or Luke, and I say, hey, have you got 15 minutes to discuss this thing I've been thinking about? I'm thinking about doing it this way. Maybe we could do it this way. What do you think? Before you write the code, you're not attached to it. You haven't put in hours of work. Very little is lost if you change direction. So that's my first tip. Just grab someone beforehand. Make the review easy as you can. Don't hit the reviewer with a wall of code. Remember that a PR can be more than one commit. You should keep the commit small and contained. The code base should build and pass tests at every commit. This makes it easy to revert things if you need to. If you have robotic commits like reformatting passes or introducing new linting rules or whatever, you can totally separate them out. They might touch a lot of code, but they're still easy and formulaic to review. You shouldn't mix in drive-by fixes. You can make a note, you can put them in a separate commit, then it's okay, right? Separately reviewable. Now, these are all goals. There are times when we can't quite reach them, but we should always strive. In order to do this, I would say if you're using Git, and I assume many of us are, I know the cool kids use JJ these days, but it's basically over Git. Get used to changing your local history. If you're using Git and not changing local history, you are getting, by far, not very much benefit from it. Git add-p or git add-i, git rebase-i. Many people in this room probably know these things already. And commit as you develop, taking the time after you develop to reformat your commit or reorder, rejig your commits is part of the workflow. Please write good commit messages. Please adopt something sensible. I like to use conventional. No, I don't use conventional commits. I do use gitmoji.dev though, but I have a format that I use, my team uses. It doesn't really matter what you pick. It doesn't really matter what you pick, but do pick something. Often people want to have a ticket link to track work. That's fine, do that. Don't just do one-line commits, please. Each commit should explain what the thing was that you fixed or added, what the chosen solution was, and why. Please write good tests. This will help the reviewer, and the reviewer might start by looking at the tests. You don't have to follow test-driven development, but you do have to have tests. Please make them small. If your test setup is 20 lines of boilerplate mocks before it makes one assertion, it's not easy to review. Oftentimes, even if you're not doing TDD, the sequence of tests is going to match the sequence of development, and the tests go from testing elementary things to more advanced behavior. Just make your test clear. If you're committing a bug fix, you must have a test that exhibits the bug. That is not negotiable. You can also comment on your own PR. This is allowed. You already talked with someone about the design, you implemented it. When the rubber met the road, you had to make a compromise. You can point out to your reviewers before they even open their review, you can leave a commit on your own PR and say, pay attention to this thing, and it will help your reviewers. When issues arise, be clear about resolution. I like to use conventional comment. This makes it very clear whose court the ball is in, whether you're required to make a change or the reviewer is saying, just consider this, and it's still okay. And the final thing, reciprocate. If you're going to expect good timely code reviews, you must be prepared to give them. So make it part of your daily workflow. I start every day from my notifications tab. Thank you very much.